ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Sitting in tonight, Carol Simpson.
Good evening. The United States has accused Iraq of what it calls outrageous behavior, a flagrant breach of the ceasefire. For the second time in a week, the Iraqis refused to let a UN inspection team search for equipment used to make fuel for nuclear weapons. Today, when the inspectors tried to check out yet another military base, the Iraqis not only said no, they did so with gunfire. UN officials say they caught the Iraqis red-handed and have pictures to prove it. ABC's Britt Hume reports that President Bush is taking the matter very seriously.
Events in Iraq brought the Bush administration's military high command to the White House this morning for a meeting with the president. At the State Department, spokeswoman Tutwiler described what happened when the UN observers arrived at the Iraqi facility just as trucks containing suspected nuclear materials were leaving.
When team members moved closer to observe and photograph the departure of the vehicles, Iraqi military authorities threatened the inspection team with small arms warning shots fired in the air. The Iraqis also made efforts to seize the team's cameras.
As he left the White House for a weekend in Maine, the president told reporters he was very concerned about the episode. Later, aboard Air Force One, he elaborated.
We can't, from the U.S. standpoint, permit this brutal bully to go back on what was a solemn agreement and to threaten people that are there under UN jurisdiction. And that's exactly what he appears to have done. And the man has no shame.
The president was asked if he was sure Iraq's actions had violated the ceasefire agreement.
Yes, I'm totally satisfied of that. I've seen incontrovertible evidence to this effect. Incontrovertible, unarguable.
He ruled out nothing as to what the U.S. might do, but said the first steps would not be military.
I think we need to be sure that we start immediate consultation at the UN. And then don't press me what I'll do beyond that, because I'm not prepared to say. I'm not prepared to say what we'll do.
But when he was pressed on whether the U.S. and its allies might resort to force, the president replied that the UN resolutions already passed authorized their enforcement by all means necessary. Britt Hume, ABC News, Kennebunkport, Maine.
Under the terms of the ceasefire, Iraq agreed to scrap all its weapons of mass destruction. As ABC's Bob Zelnick reports, officials at the Pentagon believe that Iraq is falling way short of complying with those terms.
Pentagon sources say today's confrontation involved the same nuclear materials UN inspectors had been forbidden to see at the Abu Ghraib military barracks last Sunday. After that incident, U.S. intelligence satellites tracked Iraqi trucks hauling the equipment to the Al-Fallujah facility. Sources say the material consists of components used to produce enriched uranium for atomic weapons. The Iraqi nuclear program is not the only area of concern. Sources say that Iraq still has chemical and biological warfare programs, as well as an ongoing ballistic missile program.
He has had months in which to hide a great deal of this material. Iraq is filled with literally hundreds of secure military storage facilities, some of which are co-located with cities and populated areas.
That restricts the bombing options available to the U.S., even though it has an aircraft carrier operating in the Persian Gulf and a wide range of strike aircraft based in Saudi Arabia. At the UN this afternoon, the Secretary General dispatched a special team to Iraq to demand the inspectors get what they need to do their job.
Total freedom of movement, immediate access to the places which they wanted to visit, and of course the security of the mission.
Tonight, Saddam Hussein announced that he was instructing his military to cooperate with UN inspectors. No one here is ruling out military action if his word again proves false. Bob Zelnick, ABC News at the Pentagon.
In a moment, looking for someone to fill Justice Marshall's shoes. Word of a ceasefire between Yugoslavia and one of its breakaway republics. And our person of the week, a passionate believer